Tropical-Rouge Precure episode 31. I'm shocked, I'm shook, I have no idea what I just watched. Asuka. I'm even wearing red today because Asuka. You know, I just love her so much more after this episode. And I feel like this episode really explained a lot about her character. I am loving the storytelling of each of the characters in Tropical-Rouge because it is so well done. Hello everyone, it's Leo, and in this video we're going to talk about episode 31 from Tropical-Rouge Precure. What an amazing Asuka episode! I did my thoughts on what I thought happened between Asuka and Yuriko. I was totally wrong, and I'm happy to be wrong because this is glorious. Let's talk about this. So we have this school trip that Asuka's going by herself, and it's a graduation trip, so obviously she's the only one that's graduating. She's a 9th grader, and Laura tags along without her knowing. Lots of funny scenes ensue. Laura is always bringing us the faces, the memes, everything about Laura is perfect. I love it. But obviously all eyes were on Asuka. So we had lots of nice scenes and very creative scenes as well with Numidi, the villain from this episode. I really loved her attire, and I really liked the camaraderie, what's the word? I don't even know, between her, Asuka, and Laura. Like, Asuka took both of them to another room for Yuriko not to see them, and she was just there eating her oranges or mandarins. She was just chilling, and she's like, I can't even summon a Chose Tayaraneda here in a small space like this. And then they took out, and like they were doing a just battle, Shokyu Shobu, just like Cure March on Smile. Outside of the train, I loved that moment. It was very iconic, but Asuka was a smart girl at that time. She just waved her goodbye. And I feel like this episode suffered a little bit on the technical side. We could see that the animation was not top-notch, but I feel like at least they tried, and I feel like they succeeded in certain scene compositions. I don't understand much of this, but for me it worked as a viewer. Like, you could really see how lonely Asuka is. She was there with some classmates before, but she was never really interacting with them. She was just kind of keeping to herself. Yuriko, the same. Yuriko has the excuse because she is the student council president. She has the excuse of being the student council president. Well, Asuka is just like that. So she is kind of like a loner. And we could see that in lots of scenes in this episode. That was so well done, in my opinion. And there was also the fact that we know that there's something between her and Yuriko, but we didn't know exactly what happened. We knew that there was tennis involved, and we also knew that now they don't get along very well. And Laura obviously notices that. I really love that moment that Asuka was just there by herself, and Laura tags along so that she tries to make Asuka open up. And I absolutely love the fact they were sitting side by side. Asuka stands up and sits against Laura in that moment, because I feel like it's kind of like a psychological thing. If you're not directly looking at someone, if you're not right by someone's side, you can open up easier. And I feel like that's what she was trying to do. And she told her story to Laura. I'm very thankful that it was Laura who was there, because I feel like Laura tries very hard to understand all of the girls because they're her servants, basically. And she tries her best to understand them. And she really tries to actually look at each of the girls. And that's what she was trying to do with Asuka. But she was also trying to make Asuka open up. And I feel like after this episode, I can really understand her because we got to see what happened. They were great tennis players. They were basically the best. They were a duo. They fought together. And I'm going to say this now before I forget. If you look at Yuriko's racket and Asuka's racket was red and pink, kind of like flamingo. And Yuriko's racket was green and blue, kind of like maybe her theme colors. Is this hinting at something? Is she gonna become a special cure with those colors? Toy Animation, can you do that for us? I would love for that to happen. Come on, Toy Animation. One episode, only one. But okay, what matters was that they were very good and all eyes were on them in all of the school and the prefectural championships. And different schools, they were trying to set her up and they were trying to destroy her racket, but Asuka saw them. And here's when things start to get interesting, because we see in this episode another side of Asuka that we didn't see before. When Asuka saw that, she ran towards the girls and got them by their collars, and she was very angry. And, you know, because of that, they basically had to disband the whole tennis club. And what happened at that moment was very interesting, because I feel like after seeing that, I can now notice that Asuka, is someone who is always holding back. Throughout the Tropical-Rouge season, she's always holding back. One of the things that the narrative has already established about her is that she is a very fair person. She always tries to be very fair towards everyone. She tries to help people who she seems to be victims of injustice. She's always trying to help them no matter what. But she never really gives her all. It seems that she's always thinking before acting. And in this episode, we saw her acting before thinking, because she wanted to defend her friend. She wanted to defend her friend's honor. And she wanted to defend the fact that her friend wanted to play with her and everything else. So she really took the girls by the collars. And the girls were going to tell everybody about that and how violent she was and everything. And so no one would believe her because there was no proof. There were no other people who were there actually witnessing the fact that the girls were trying to cheat and trying to do something bad. And because of that, Yuriko decided to take on the blame, and the tennis club decided to take on the blame and resign from the game. Yuriko did that because Yuriko is also very responsible, and she's always putting others in front of her. And she did that because of the teammates, of the other members of the tennis club. She did that thinking about them, to not hurt them and their careers as tennis players or just school players maybe, but she didn't want to hurt them. And the teammates were one of the main driving forces for Yuriko's actions. And that made Asuka feel very disappointed in the fact that Yuriko chose the teammates before her duo and her friendship with Asuka. That's how I felt like. But at the same time, Yuriko, she didn't blame Asuka, but she made it very clear that Asuka has a very strong way of reacting to things without thinking, and she rushes into action. And that kind of was their downfall. And look, that explains so much why Asuka is always holding back throughout the whole season of Tropical-Rouge. Oh my god, and it obviously also explains the fact that she doesn't really want to open up, and she always keeps to herself, even with the girls, and also explains the fact she doesn't want teammates and how unvaluable they are to her after what happened. And one of the things that I noticed about Asuka so far is that you can always see her clenching her fists and gritting her teeth, like she is holding her personality back because of what happened. Her personality, maybe for her, just blew everything for both for her and for Yuriko and their friendship. And then we have the glorious scene of both of them being attacked by Numeri, and Numeri created a Cho Zeta Yaraneda, who was actually a train, and the train stopped the other train, stole motivation from all of the students, and Yuriko was in another place, and she didn't have her motivation stolen, but because of that, Laura and Oscar were able to transform. It was very interesting that we didn't see La Mer transforming, but we saw Flamingo transforming. I mean, that's only fitting. And we saw Flamingo helping Yuriko. And I said this episode technically was not the prettiest, but that scene of Flamingo holding Yuriko, Girl, I just can't. And Yuriko was shocked to sight of Flamingo, like, what is this I'm seeing? And then she saw Lemaire fighting and Flamingo went to join the fight. And it was very obvious after Flamingo used her solo attack. For Yuriko, it was very obvious who she was seeing there. I love this moment. I absolutely love this moment. And I love the fact that Asuka was using her signature tennis movement and Yuriko was watching that. Gosh, that was great. That was incredible. And Yuriko noticed that something was wrong. And the other girls were coming and they were arriving. It was very funny that the other girls used their Precure personas to be able to catch up to the train. I love that. It's very rare to see Cures using the Cure powers to do something other than fighting. So it's very nice to see that, and it was very funny as well. And they joined the fight. Everything was fine. Motivation was given back to everybody, and you know, the girls just left, and Lemaire left as well. And that scene of Lemaire sticking her tongue out because she just wanted to be with them, I loved that. And they only went to give Asuka her pillow because she never sleeps without her pillow. We saw that prior to this in that episode that they traveled to Manatsu's hometown and home island. And it also made another connection because Yuriko also knew about this information. So when she saw Asuka with her pillow, she got reminded of that. So there is this underlying feeling about both of them. Oh, and there was another scene. Like, I got carried away for a moment, and the scene composition really made it look like Flamingo was gonna kiss Yuriko. And for a moment I forgot I was watching Precure, and I thought, oh my god, they're gonna kiss. I mean, when it dawned on me, I was like, okay, it's Precure, it's not gonna happen like that. But, you know, that was so much for my mind. I loved it nonetheless. So, at the end, we see that Kururun was there. I love Asuka's face when she saw Kururun. Kururun is the best, okay? Kururun is the best thing that has ever graced Precure. I love Kururun, and I love Kururun's role in the season. Like, Kururun is just there to say, Kururun. I love it. And, oh my god, it was great. And so, some things to consider here. First thing is, Yuriko thinks that everything that happened was just a dream. She didn't really live that, nothing happened, and that figure she saw, it was just a dream for her. But it's obviously going to happen, you know, it's gonna happen at some point. She's gonna see Flamingo again. And second is that their relationship is still not resolved. It is gonna be at some point, but I loved this episode really kept the door open for more. So we're gonna have more Flamingo, more Asuka and Yuriko. I am really loving this relationship of them, and I could really see their personalities. So this episode, like the writing of this episode, you know, really something else to me. I'm loving the way Tropical-Rouge is working with its characters. It's so well done. So well done. And the way everything that happened today justifies all of Asuka's actions throughout Tropical-Rouge is so powerful. And also Yuriko's. And I love their relationship already, like their relationship dynamic right now. It makes so much sense. It was just very powerful. I really liked it, and I really like when Precure goes all out like that. You know, great character development, great character writing. I just find it incredible. Oh my god. And next week, another character episode. They're very rare in Tropical-Rouge. Tropical-Rouge focuses more on group episodes and group actions. And now we're gonna have a Sango episode as well. I also love Sango's progression and how she is always trying to build up more confidence. So I'm very curious to see how things are going to culminate in next episode, episode 32. So I'm just very excited for that. Anyways, guys, that was my opinion on episode 31. Asuka, I love you. You are incredible. I just love it. Anyways, This is my view. Please leave a comment with yours. Let's keep talking in the comment box below. And I want to take this little time to thank the members of the Magical Cinema channel. If you are a member, thank you very, very much for all of your support. And go Flamingo. I love her. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time. Bye-bye.